All right, so today I'm going to teach y'all how to make Japanese clear onion soup, or some of y'all might just know it as the soup that you get when you go to the hibachi spot. Let me show y'all how I like to make it. By no means am I saying that this is traditional. This is just how I like to make it. So let's get into it. First things first, this bag right here might look like a mystery bag to y'all, but I have talked to y'all about this. So what this is a combination of peppers and onions, celery, carrot that I have used that I've had left over from other recipes that weren't cooked. And so what I do is I just add them all to one bag and I place them in my freezer so that it doesn't go to waste. And because I'm making this pretty much a broth or a stock today, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and make use of this. So traditionally you would not have green and red bell pepper in it, but because all of this is going to get strained through a colander anyway, none of this is going to be in there. So it's really just going to add more flavor, which is totally fine. I also have one large sweet onion and a half of one that I also am going to make use of. I have 3 carrots, 2 stalks of celery because I have celery in that bag as well, so I'm not concerned. I have some green onion, about that size piece of some fresh ginger. I have enough garlic here that's probably going to mince down to about a tablespoon or so. Now, I wanted to have a little bit of an umami flavor in my soup today, but I didn't have any seaweed, but I did have this. So I'm going to add in probably about a tablespoon of this rice seasoning. I absolutely love this stuff. Soy sauce, coarse kosher salt, white pepper, Shaoxing cooking wine, pure sesame oil, the optional MSG. You can use it, you cannot use it. And then I'm going to be using 2 32-ounce containers of chicken broth, 1 salted, 1 unsalted. You can also do a combination of both chicken broth and beef broth, but once again, I'm using up what I have. You see that? You see that? You see that? Don't ask me for the damn ingredient list. Come on, Chad.
Whipping up all of your favorite recipes. Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food. Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't really know if people realize how extremely easy it is to make this soup. It doesn't really take much to make it. You're honestly just going to take all of your veggies and just break them down into nice sized chunks. None of these vegetables you're actually going to be eating. All of this is going to get strained through. It really is just a matter of building flavor into the broth. It's pretty much all that the soup is. Now, once again, I'm not sitting here saying that this is the most traditional way or the traditional way of making it at all, but I kind of understand what the flavor profile of it is supposed to be. So this is how I like to make it. Anytime I go to hibachi spots, it is one of the things that I used to be so leery about eating because of the mushrooms, because I pretty much went my entire life thinking that I was dead allergic to mushrooms. I just found out, I think within the last year, that I am not allergic to mushrooms. I'm still terrified to eat them, have never cooked with them. So today is actually a very interesting day because this will be the first time have I ever handled mushrooms or ever cooked with mushrooms in my entire life. In my entire life. And I'm being dead serious because I went my whole life thinking that I was deadly allergic to them. So this will be interesting for me to be actually handling mushrooms and cooking with them today. Once again, you're going to also add in your onion. And once again, you know, there's no right or wrong way of preparing this because all of this is going to get run through a strainer. I have a bowl over here to the side. So I'm going to be using the 2 large onions. And like I said, that little bag that I have over there to the side that has all of those extra onions and peppers and celery and all that stuff, all of that's all going to go inside of this pot because we're not about to be wasting stuff. There's no need for any of that. And the reason why I'm doing this in real time is because I want you guys to see how extremely quick and easy it is to prep this, to put this together, because it does not take long. After I cut up this onion and my piece of ginger, that will be the last bit of prep that I have to do for this recipe. It's just that simple. The garlic, I'm not even going to bother mincing that down. I can saute that in the pan itself. So let's go on ahead and let's move over to the stovetop. And if you didn't know, when you're working with mushrooms, although I don't cook with them, I know how to properly handle them. You never want to submerge mushrooms in water. You want to get yourself a wet paper towel and then just wipe off the top. And that is how you clean up mushrooms. But it's important that you do this. Do not skip this step. You want to know why? That's why. Clean them up, honey. And then I'm just going to slice them up. You can slice them up however you see fit, completely up to you. I'm only going to be doing this for the purpose of the video because you got to have the mushroom in there. And strangely enough, even when I was going to the hibachi spots and I thought I was deadly allergic to mushrooms, I always still let them put the mushrooms in the soup and I never got sick. I don't know, but I'm not a mushroom lover, but I understand that certain recipes call for it. So you do what you got to do, honey. And you already know you've got to have the green onion. The green onion is the key to the soup. It's really what's going to bring it to life. And it's also really why it is called clear onion soup. The green onion is going to wake up the entire bowl. Let's get all this together, honey. And for the ginger, you can add in as much or as little as you would like. I absolutely love the pungent flavor of the ginger in this soup, so I don't kind of shy away from it. But you can use as much or as little as you would like. But of course you want to remove the outside skin. And this is about how much I will be using today. In the bottom of my pot, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of pure sesame oil. And to the pot, I've gone on ahead and added in the carrot, the celery, and the ginger. We're going to hold off on adding the garlic for just a few moments to kind of let this kind of saute up. And like I said, this is just a combination of green bell pepper, red bell pepper, carrot, celery, and onion. You can kind of see where the first recipe I had some left over, and then I just continue to add to the bag. But I'm telling you guys, this is a great tip to have during the holiday times when you have leftover peppers and onions and stuff. Don't throw that stuff away. Just continuously add it to the Ziploc bag, place it in the freezer, because you will have a time when you're going to need them. And just like now, I have extra veggies that I can add to my soup. Now we're going to allow this to cook for roughly about 3 to 4 minutes until everything becomes very fragrant. This is going to start to wake up all the flavors in the pot. But make sure that the heat is not up too high. You don't want your sesame oil to burn. But just make sure that everything is properly coated in that oil. This house already smells absolutely amazing. And now we're going to go on ahead and throw in our cloves of garlic. Once again, no need to mince it down. This is going to be cooking for about 1.5 hours, so all the flavor is going to get extracted out of it, whether it is minced down or not. But definitely use fresh. Go on ahead and give this a good mix. I'm going to tell you something right now. The smell of the sesame oil cooking in these veggies has my house, like my stomach is growling. Like what is, oh, Jesus. I have now reduced the temperature to low, and we can go on ahead and add in both boxes of our chicken broth. This is 4 cups, so you're going to be using 8 cups of stock in total. Once again, if you want, you can absolutely do 4 cups of chicken broth, 4 cups of beef broth. I'm using what I had in my house. But I will say that whatever you choose to do, just make sure that either one of them or is unsalted, or before you start to add in any of the salt additions to this, give it a taste first so that it doesn't end up overly salty, okay? And for this amount that I'm making today, I'm only going to add in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. You can always add more to the individual bowls, but do not put too much in there to start with. We're going to add in 1 teaspoon of the Shaoxing wine, 1/4 of a teaspoon of the white pepper. And again, I know that this is not traditional, but I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of this rice seasoning. It's going to give some great umami flavor to it. And don't worry, all of this is going to get run through a strainer, so none of that's going to end up in the final dish. But the additions from that seaweed is going to give this some great flavor. And of course, the optional 1/4 of a teaspoon of the MSG. Give all of this a good mix. You do not want this to be at a raging boil. You want it to be at a low simmer. I'm going to place the top on this bad boy and let this go for 1 hour and 30 minutes. All right, y'all, let's go in and give our soup a check. This will be the first time I've opened the lid since I've put it on there, and it's been going now for a little over 1 hour. And let me tell you, the smell is absolutely incredible in this house. Now is the time when you want to go in and you can give it a taste. See if you want any additional salt. See if you would like to add in any additional soy sauce. Once again, remember, you want the pot itself to be neutral. We're still going to run it through the strainer and all that. But what I'm trying to say is don't feel like you have to customize the entire pot to your liking. Because what you can do is once you serve it, you can put soy sauce out on the table, and let people kind of salt it up more to their liking. You want this to kind of be, so, you want it to be enjoyable for everyone is what I'm trying to say. All right, y'all. So I let this go for about 2 hours altogether. You can do it for an hour, but just letting you know, the longer you let it go, the more the flavors are going to develop. I'm now going to go in with a wire mesh strainer and I'm going to remove all of the veggies out of this. And then I'm still going to run this through another strainer because all I want to be left with is that clear broth. So I'm going to go on ahead and remove everything out, run it through a strainer, and then we're going to come back and plate it up and we'll be all done. Now that I've run this delicious broth through a strainer, I just want you guys to see how beautiful and clear that broth is coming out. My goodness. It is jam-packed with so much flavor, but that's what you want. And as you can see, there's no peppers and onions floating around in there. It is nice and clear. So let's go on ahead and plate it up. So in the bottom of each of the bowls, I'm going to add in a few mushrooms to each. You can add in as many or as little as you would like. I don't want that many in there. Then of course you're going to go in with the green onion, like so. Again, as many or as little as you would like. And then, my loves, you just go in and you top it off with that absolutely delicious broth that you have been making for the last couple of hours. And that, my friends, is how I make my Japanese clear onion soup. Or like I said, as some of you guys might know it as the soup that you get when you go to Hibachi. That's it. Let's give it a try. And let's go in for a taste test. I've added in an extra splash of soy sauce to my individual bowl. Let's give it a test. Tastes just like the hibachi spot. It's so refreshing, but so good. Make this. You're welcome.
Playing in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.